Good morning, everyone. Today we are going to start working on creating a registration form using HTML forms. See, we need to create a registration form and style it using CSS. Okay, the output I'll show you how it looks. The output here. See, this is a registration form where we are creating a label called first name and we are taking the input from the text box we have given. In the text box I have given a placeholder where you are able to see your first name, that is a placeholder, and last name is one more label which is associated with this text box, which will be taking last name of the user, and a placeholder is also been given which is letting us know what you need to enter your last name. Email is one more label which is associated with the email text box, which will be taking uh, taking the input email address. Whenever we are saying email, it should be the input should be an email. That means email has a specific format, so input should be a email. Type equals to email, which has like Madhvi @kmec.in, @kmec.in or google.com. So that is the format what email has. So the input type will be given as an email, and next password. Password is secret. So when we want to hide the text that we are going to give in password, we have to mention the type to be as a password, that I'll show you in the code. And here also we have used the placeholders to show what to enter, and date of birth is one more label which has been associated with this date of birth text box, where I have mentioned the type to be as a date. That's why it is showing you the calendar. And one submit button, which is the text on the submit button I gave as register, and the color as a background as green for this button. And this is the container, this is the form, registration form. The background is white color. We will see how we make the changes in the colors, how does it reflect. Okay, now we'll go to the code. What are you going to write it? As we know, we are going to start with the root element HTML. In the head tag we are mentioning this metadata. Okay, metadata. And title also we need to mention in the head tag. And then style, I'm using internal styling. That's why in the style tags I have mentioned, I have given selectors. Body body I have styled with the font family used in the body is Arial sans serif. And background color I have mentioned this as I've mentioned it here. See, here you can see it clearly. See, for the body, I gave these properties. These properties. Okay, padding is 20 pixel. Yeah, let us change the background color of the body. Okay, later we will see what is the output. How does it gonna change? And for the container, see, we can, as we know, in styling using CSS, we can have three selectors, whether it is ID, tag, or the class. Okay, so for container, we are using the properties that I am styling is margin, background color, padding, width, border, and border radius. Okay, in this way, I have styled that using tag h2 tag, body tag, label tag. Okay, label element also we are using input. Okay, so they are, this way we have styled all those styling I have mentioned in the style tags. Okay, then have closed the head tag. And in the body, well, I have mentioned the class as a container. If you see here, this is the container. In this class only I am grouping. When we use class, whenever we want to group certain elements, then we will be making use of a container. I have made a division in the total web page. I made a container div class equals to container, a class name. Okay, so and here h2 tag, I want the that form title to be yes registration form. and the form action we have to, in the form tag we have to give action. So when you click on that for submit that form, what action to be done, where it has to be submit, or it has to navigate to some page, or some message has to be delivered. So for that action we have to mention in the form tag only. This is one of the attribute which will be helping you to know what action to be done when you press the button. Okay, form action attribute on a button or input element. Okay, so here we are mentioning in the double quotes, that is submit registration. It has to go for submit registration. And the method, it is post method, as we are giving it, we are inputting the text. Okay, the user is inputting the text, so it has to take the input, so that is post method. And as I have explained, the first label is first name, and the text box that is assigned, that is associated with it, is input text box. Okay, see, if you see, I have taken a label for f name. If you see, this f name is the ID name that I have given for this input input box, text box. Okay, so label and the input box are both associated with each other. Okay, that it will be telling, yeah, if at all, if you are using username and you give a text box, that username label and this text box, whatever input are been given in this text box, are being associated with each other. Okay, and label, what does it show? It is for the f name, that is for this text box. The ID for this text box I gave as f name, and the text that has to be appeared for the label in place of label is first name. And coming to the input text box that is been associated with this label is input type is text. That is, in the text box we are gonna give some text, and that text will be taken for the form. Okay, and the ID is given as f name, name is first name, and placeholder, that which we are able to see in the text box, and that is you need to enter your first name, and I have mentioned it to be an mandatory element that has to be filled in by the user, that is required. If you specify as required, then it will be as a mandatory function. As we know, asterisk mark will be appearing. Okay, and if you see, this is an self closing tag. Input tag is self closing tag, label tags are self closing tags. Okay, and the second element is, that is what we are asking to enter the last name. For that also we have a label which is for l name, which is the name, the ID that is given for this input text box, and the label associated with this, the text that we have given for the label is last name. Okay, and ID for the input text box, type is text, ID equals to l name, name is last name, and placeholder, we are asking user to enter your last name, and mentioned even that is a required. Okay, and next label, the same way I have given label as a email. If you observe here, for these two input text, it is text input boxes, those are text boxes. Here the type is email, ID equals to email. Why we are mentioning the same names to be as an ID or name is for the easiness, feasibility of programming. Okay, and placeholder as your enter your email address, and also as specified this field to be as required, mandatory field. Okay, next label is password. Again, if you see, the label is password that we have given. Type here is password. Password, ID is password. Name is password. Placeholder is enter your password required. Required. It is also required. When we say type equals to password, as the password should be in a hidden format, we are mentioning that it to be as a password. It has to be kept secret. Like you need to have a dots or a asterisk mark in place of the text that they are entering. That's why we have mentioned type equals to password. Next label is date of birth. This label is associated with this input text input box, which is type equals to date, id equals to dob, name equals to dob, and it is required. So whatever id you are giving for this input type, that only you need to give for the label, so that both the things, label and this input, will be associated with each other. Okay. And the last thing is submit the button what we have given. It is type equals to submit, value equals to register. When we are saying value, this register text is appearing in place, on the place of submit. Okay, on the submit button. So, and I have closed the form tag, then the division tag, and then the body and the html tag. Okay, this the way how are we going to create a simple registration form. Okay, now I have made certain changes in the color. Let's see colors or the. Okay, try to make changes in the color. Let's see how does it work. Okay, and I'm saving this. Okay, so we'll see how is it. Okay, so I have changed the container. I have changed the background color. Okay, button color. When mouse is on it, when the mouse over, it is changing to blue color. Okay, that is about the styling. And then see here how does it function. Let's see. Okay, email id, I'll show you. See, immediately when I have typed them, it is asking and please include an at the rate in the email address. M is missing an at the rate. So it has a proper format. Okay. Some gmail.com I'll mention, and the password whatever I am giving, that is been hidden. See, as we have mentioned the type as password, you are able to view this control. Okay, and when you are typing your password, you are getting the dots instead of the text or the number whatever you are typing in. Okay, and date of birth is, as we have mentioned, the type to be as date. It is given you the calendar. Okay, I'll you like this. Okay, once I have filled all the fields, it will definitely submit. But I have try to delete the, I have not unfill the first name. So it is asking me please fill out this field. So I have filled something and clicked on register. So it is going to the submit registration, where it is showing this page isn't working right now. If the problem continues, correct the site owner. Okay, this is the way our registration form works. Hope you all work on it. Create as many labels as you need. Create, use all the input elements. Okay, type input types. Okay, and all the best. Keep learning.